Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Smart Money. Now, did you know that India witnesses roughly 23,000 cyber crimes a day as per FCRF, which is a startup incubated by IIT in Kanpur? 77% of the cyber crimes today are financial frauds, out of which 50% of them are UPI related. Now, according to the Ministry of Finance, more than 95,000 fraud cases linked to UPI transactions were recorded in 2023 alone. Cyber Detectives is an initiative to spread awareness about digital safety in India, and we have the two young minds behind it, Anuj and Krish, here with us today on Smart Money. We also have Dr. Mieet Shah of Cybermatricks, which is a cyber forensic expert and consultancy firm dealing with such crimes and how to execute the recovery process. Guys, thank you so much for joining us here. I really appreciate your time because, this is a space that has garnered a lot of interest now. And as we know, everyone is suffering from, a lot of these cyber crimes. So first, let's talk about digital safety. Krish, let me begin with you. Tell us, what are the numbers looking like now? What is the situation that we're at? And what do your viewers need to know?
Correct. So India right now is going through a rapid phase of digitalization, while at the same time the digital literacy in the country is very low, as people are newly getting accustomed to using technology, internet and the overall infrastructure. So with this causes a huge problem, right? Because people are not sure about certain messages that they get. People are not sure how to use certain platforms. And this can become a very big problem for the country, and hence we want to make sure that India understands digital safety, and with that we are also able to save money for people because every year in India around 33% of the people are prone to online scams.
Yeah. And out of the 33%, a lot of it I'm sure is the older generation as well, right? Our parents that constantly get these calls, and there are a lot of scams doing the rounds. So tell us about UPI scams. I want to start with that because it's the hot topic now and it's so prevalent, right? What are the numbers looking like, and what are the scams that I need to be aware of? Anuj, let me start with you.
Thank you for that question. So that's a very important topic actually. India has more than 330 million UPI users. And there are so many UPI scams to talk about. There are people who say that they say they have credited you money, but they haven't. And at times they want to deposit money to your account, but they send you QR links that you're supposed to scan, and which are again a fraud scam. But I'll tell you the most prevalent scam right now that's going on. So this scam is, interestingly enough, you actually get credited with real amount of money. So we have seen this about you get money around 2,000 to 2,500 rupees deposited in your account. And what happens next is, they would ask you the money back. And as good citizens, you would want to give the money back. But they wouldn't ask you the money in the regular fashion. They would send you a separate fishy link. And what happens is, if you click on this fishy link, you would be redirected to a page which would look like your UPI app page, or which would look like Google Pay kind of page. But there, if you enter your OTP or your UPI PIN, these details would get shared with the hackers and they can hack your account very easily.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So you're saying they start by depositing money in my account, and then they call me and then they ask, tell me, oh, the money is in your account. Can you send it back to me? And hence the scam starts. Okay.
Exactly.
What else? Through the UPI route, where else can I get scammed?
Oh, so yeah, there are multiple ways they would do it. So there are new loopholes they keep coming up with. For example, if of late they tried this one scam where they would send you a message which would look like the paid message of Google Pay. So, it would look like with the exact emoticons, and it would replicate the very same behavior that Google Pay would give you. So you would actually think the money is credited to you, but it's not. They would also send you fishy links of apps which would look like APK files of, that are UPI-related apps, but they are not.
Oh,
there's one other interesting scam, which we have seen actually happening in Gujarat too, where, they have put fake QR codes over the existing QR codes of the shopkeepers. And what would happen is you scan their QR code, but the money would actually go to the scammer's account. Yeah.
But you would think that any QR code that you use in a shop is a genuine QR code. So how do you sort of protect yourself from that scam? Krish?
Correct. So first thing that you need to see is you need to verify. So there's always a name that comes when you scan a QR code. So maybe you ask the shopkeeper first that if the name is matching with the shopkeeper's name, or if there's some other name, just verify it with the shopkeeper. If everything works, then you only send the money. And also a lot of time people don't realize that in order to receive money, you don't need to scan any QR code. So the same thing is happening. So there are a lot of platforms like OLX and Quicker, right, where people are trying to sell goods online or their home articles online. What happens generally is that, let's say I put my fridge on these platforms, right, and I suddenly get an offer. Let's say I put my fridge for 35,000 rupees. I suddenly get an offer of 35,000 rupees only without any negotiation.
Okay.
And then the person tells me that you scan this QR code and you will receive your money. Now, as a informed citizen, you should know that if you want to receive money from anyone, you don't need to scan any QR code. QR code is only required to be scanned when you need to pay money to someone.
That is really important. Actually, even I didn't know this, you know, that of course you use the QR code to make so many payments, but in order to receive money, never ever scan a QR code. Got it. Now we have Dr. Mieet Shah also here, and he runs Cybermatricks, which ties up with a lot of the state governments, the state police of different states, in order to do interrogation, consultancy, and eventually recovery of scams as well. So Dr. Mieet, tell us about, you know, your profile and how many of these UPI scams that these folks are talking about. What is the recovery rate like?
The recovery rate is like, if we see out of 10, we are able to recover more than 7 of the accounts.
Okay.
There are a few of the things that are to be kept in the mind. Like if there is some fraud happening with someone, so as a victim, that is a recommendation that they should come as soon as possible. Because if they come into the guidelines of 24 to 48 hours, we are able to make the investigation more powerful. We are able to investigate it. We are able to submit it on time, and we can get them the recovery back.
Okay, I do want to talk about more scams. So we've talked about the UPI scams, right? The next thing is crypto scams. Now, if you want to just briefly tell us, Anuj, about these scams and what we should be aware of.
Oh yeah, so with the crypto wave, a lot of scammers took advantage of the crypto scams too. There's so many Telegram channels where they, they do this pump and dump kind of schemes. They do it with even mutual funds, and now they moved in with crypto, where they would promise you huge gains. And the way they do it is they would first enroll you to some fake crypto trading platform, and that crypto trading platforms are designed in a way that would reflect prices very similar to the original prices. So when you trade on those platforms, it might seem that you're trading on real platforms, but what might happen is you might be trading on the prices that they have dictated, and you would see huge number of gains. And you would keep investing money into these trading platforms, but when you try to withdraw the money back, you wouldn't be able to.
Okay, that's about crypto scams. I want to talk about the next one, which is these AnyDesk link bank scams, right? And bank scams are huge these days. Almost every other day you get a call from some bank executive asking you for your details, make this payment, make that payment, and half of them are fraud. So tell us, what is this AnyDesk link bank scam, and how can I safeguard myself and my family from it?
Right. So there are a lot of fake call centers running all over the country, right? And what happens is that, let's say I get stuck on my laptop due to some reason, some transaction is not working on my laptop, there is some sort of virus that has come in place. So what I do is I go to Google and I search for helpline numbers that can help me, go pass through it. What happens is that most of these numbers that we see on the Google, they are fraud numbers. By that I mean that most of them get connected to the wrong people. What then happens is that they then tell you, okay, we can solve your query. You just need to download AnyDesk application or some APK file on your phone, and then we will take over and we will resolve it, and we will send it back to you, and we will uninstall that app. But what happens is that when they let you download these applications, they have the full access to your mobile phone. They have the full access to your personal laptop. And most of the time it ends up happening that they use it not in the right manner. And in some or the other cases, you end up losing a lot of money because they have all the accesses.
But tell me, if somebody wants to scam you using the UPI or the BHIM app, there is your own PIN code that you have, right? There's not only an OTP, there's your own PIN code as well. So, or that 4-digit lock that you put.
Right.
How can people surpass that?
Right. So what is happening right now is that there's this thing called call forwarding and message forwarding. Right. So some stranger might come to you and they will ask you for your mobile, because then they will tell you that they want to dial to their friends or families or someone of their relatives. And then what they'll do is they'll dial this number called *401* followed by your number. What this will do is that this will forward all your calls and messages to their number. And now what will happen is that any messages that you receive or calls you receive, that automatically get redirected to their number. And then
you wouldn't know that that's happening.
Correct. But there is a way to check that. So basically you need to dial *#21# to check if your calls and messages are getting forwarded or not. If they are getting forwarded, then you can again dial #002# to disable all the call and message forwardings.
Okay, this is interesting. So, you want to jump in on that? I mean, there are so many different ways. There are these loan scams as well that are out there. Tell us a little bit about that and what our viewers need to be aware of.
Right. So of late, what has happened is in this micro lending kind of environment, there are so many apps that have cropped up and that would give you loans of any amount, even amount as small as 500 rupees without any collateral. Now, as you know, nothing is free in life, right? So here, you are the price that you'll have to pay. So what these apps do is they take a lot of access from your phone. They take your contacts access. They would take your photos access, right? And what happens is when you even if you want to pay back the loan, they would incur you with so many extra charges. And once you refuse to pay, they would call all your contacts. They would blackmail you. They might even morph your photos and upload them online. And they would keep harassing you till you pay that exorbitant price.
So what's the right way to take the loan then? Just stay away from all of these kind of fraudulent loan sites and just go to the larger ones. I mean, how do you know which is which?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. So you can check for the companies if they're registered with RBI. They should be very much safe, and never download any loan apps which take your access for contacts and photos.
Okay. There's another thing, right? Krish had told me before the show that never download any app that's not registered on
Play Store or App Store.
On the Play Store or the App Store. That's important. So do you see a lot of frauds to do with that as well?
Right. So as I mentioned, there is this APK files that get forwarded on WhatsApp and Telegram and everywhere. So these files tell you that you can get better apps by clicking on these links. But what happens is those apps already have permissions to your entire phone once you download those links. So it is very much important that you guys or everybody in the country don't ever install such applications that seem fishy or are not registered on App Store or Play Store.
Okay, guys, don't download any apps that are not registered on the App Store or Play Store. Don't scan a QR code if you want to receive money. A QR code is only scanned in order to send money to someone, and many more such digital safety tools that we're going to give you. But we need to take a short commercial break. We'll come back in a bit.